Thank you so much. Look forward to it, John. Good evening and welcome to the program. First, it's the ingredient of most fairy tale stories, the commoner who magically turns into a prince or princess. Well, one Adelaide family believes the fairy tale has come true for them. Brothers Marek and Andrzej Kasperski claim they're the direct descendants of Polish royalty and have taken on the titles of princes. However, many experts are highly sceptical of their claims of nobility. Even a family member has now come forward attacking the legitimacy of her blue blood rallies. So princes or pretenders? Here's Francesca Belperio.
A lot of people like to live in a sort of fantasy world, which clearly is one that they've entered.
This is a royal fairy tale like no other.
It's pure fantasy on so many levels.
A fable featuring princes and princesses, but not the type that occupy the castles of Europe. This wannabe regal family lives in suburban Adelaide.
When I first met him, he was like in a polo shirt, jeans, odd socks, and some Dunlop volleys.
Meet His Serene Highnesses Prince Marek and Prince Andrzej Kasperski and their princesses, Petrina and Elisabetta. According to their website, brothers Andrew and Marek claim they spring from Polish nobility and they're at home in the company of other aristocrats from all over the globe.
Well, they're claiming to be something that they aren't.
Anything they've sort of come and told you about, I just would laugh at.
Sharon Matthews is Princess Petrina's twin sister. Petrina wed Prince Marek in a royal ceremony 4 years ago.
At my sister's hen's party, the girls, oh, she's going to be a princess, isn't it wonderful? And I was just like, am I the only one?
That I, Marek Stefan Kasperski, take you, Petrina Michaela Mort.
She was suspicious of her future brother-in-law, Prince Marek, from the start.
When I first met him, he was just plain Mark. And he was Mark for quite some time, and then all of a sudden he was Marek's, is it Jan Stefan Kasperski or the other way around? And then this whole royal thing started. They started buying the royalty magazine, you know, there's a magazine and it's royalty. And he told her that not only was she going to be in that one day, that she was also going to meet Princess Mary.
Princess Mary?
Yes.
And your sister believed him?
It was like that.
What happened at the royal wedding?
This royal wedding, we all had this strict dress code. It was black tie. The ladies had to wear dresses or skirts, but they had to be ankle length. You could not have knee length because of the royalty that was coming, and it was all supposed to be blah, blah, blah. None of the royalty arrived. Next minute, Andrew and Mark got cloaks on, and there's scrolls in Andrew's hands, and there's this footstool that my sister bought from Loot.
From Loot, homewares shop?
They got my father to kneel on this footstool from Loot. And they got this broadsword, and they started reading out this scroll. And basically, Dad was being knighted and made a baron.
She was convinced the princesses had been deceived. Eventually, Sharon became estranged from the royal family.
I would like my family to realise that what I have been saying and trying to put across to them has been right, and like to be embraced back within the family.
Poland has non-royal princes, the equivalent of English dukes, but the Kasperskis' name will not be found amongst the list. There are about 20-odd Polish princely families, and the Kasperskis, unless they are unknown to me, and I've been in the field for 20 years, simply do not exist as a title family.
Rafe Hadel-Manku is a royal commentator and expert in honours and orders. He says many of the claims on the Kasperski brothers' website are highly dubious, made to look more impressive by their membership of a group called the Order of St Stanislas.
The Order of St Stanislas is an illicit revival of a true order which became extinct in 1917. It is not a true order in the sense that it doesn't have the authority of a state behind it. It was created by a man who called himself His Serene Highness Prince Grandmaster Count Juliusz Nowina-Sokolnicki, one of the more interesting titles you'll come across. And amongst its membership we have found many people who have titles which are of dubious repute.
So it's not surprising then that the Kasperski brothers are unknown to many members of Adelaide's Polish community, including Dom Polski volunteer for 40 years, Eve Barkowiak.
We have never had Kasperskis in any Polish event in Adelaide. The Polish government doesn't recognise royalties anymore.
Their Serene Highnesses, who declined to appear, say they don't seek to publicise their family history, though their website suggests otherwise when it suits them. And being a royal does have its benefits.
My mother has told me they have had hotel upgrades. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they've been upgraded to first class on some flights, maybe. I mean, the sky's the limit.
But Prince Andrew doesn't just claim to be amongst the ranks of the Polish royal family, but also the ranks of the Royal Australian Navy.
I was told that he was in the Navy. I was told that he did a lot of hush-hush operations.
But His Serene Highness has been busted on a military imposter's website for fraudulently sporting 3 prestigious medals, including our second highest honour for bravery, the Star of Courage.
Oh, there he is. That's gold. Look at that.
He claimed that he was serving as a Navy commander in the first Gulf War and committed an act of heroism whilst there and was awarded the Star of Courage and then subsequently the Order of Australia.
Any truth in that?
No truth whatsoever.
Bill Hobson is one of the investigators who tracked down Phoney War Service wannabes. He prefers to remain undercover.
He's never served in the Navy or in the Defence Force at all. Never pulled a boot on.
Andrew has admitted he never served in the Navy, but even after he was outed by the ANZMI website, he claimed he'd never worn any service medals in public.
If you look at the photos on the website, they're very clearly wearing them and some other funny medals as well.
Amongst his decorations is also the Order of Australia. But when you search for his name on the Australian Honours website, you get a big fat 0.
He's a liar, a wannabe and a fraud.
They're claiming to be something that they aren't. There are all sorts of famous people that they claim to have met and dealt with on the internet. There's pictures of them with Indian princes and so on, and they're obviously using their extremely dubious titles to gain entry to places that they shouldn't be getting entry to.
Lord Richard Bridgman is the 7th Earl of Bradford in England. He runs a website called faketitles.com and exposes wannabes. He says the practice of purchasing fake titles is rife in Australia and New Zealand.
Incredibly common. I mean, I've come across numerous cases. There's somebody who's actually in court in Brisbane, in Queensland, who his case is coming up, who's been using his fake title there to run basically Ponzi schemes and also schemes whereby people who are looking for loans put up a lot of money up front and then, having paid the money, the loan never materialises. And he's used his title in trying to sell that to people.
There's no suggestion of anything like that from the Kasperski brothers, but the Earl is not impressed by their over-the-top claims.
Seem to be members of some pretty dubious orders as well, which presumably are things that they've purchased, probably on the internet, to make themselves appear to be an awful lot grander than they actually are.
And it's not difficult to purchase a title online. We found one website selling titles of nobility for around $200 each.
I could be a baroness for $256 by the time you leave here today.
When you see that the rituals and the elaborate installation ceremonies for some of these orders of chivalry and titles, you realise that they're simply trying to ape the royal family and what they do, and they are really, I think, Walter Mitty characters living in cloud cuckoo land.
Today, the Kasperskis sent us a response via their solicitor, saying the legitimacy of their titles had been recognised by the International Tribunal of Justice in 2008. Their membership of the Order of St Stanislaus is purely part of their charitable works, and that Andrew Kasperski knows nothing of the website exposing his military claims.
When he used to say that when the European Court granted them their titles and lands and all the millions of dollars in, is it reparations? Something along those lines, that we'd all be right. None of us would ever have to worry again, and he'd take care of us all. And so somehow...
So he believed, or he was telling you that he was going to be extremely wealthy?
Yeah. I was just like, oh yeah, righto, Mark.
And the Kasperski brothers say they have not benefited financially from their claimed nobility. Francesca Belperio with that report.